Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'll be unboxing and trying on the products in my BEAUTYLISH 2021 New Year's Lucky Bag. So these are also called fukubukuro, and they're based on this Japanese practice of in the new year having some of these bags with a lot of different products in them that are sold for a pretty low discounted price, but you don't know what's in the bag, so it's a bit of a surprise and a way for consumers to get a lot of products for a good price and a way for stores to kind of clear out some of their inventory for the new year. So I'm super excited about this lucky bag because I have never done this from BEAUTYLISH before, but I've seen some of the things people have gotten in the past and it looks like a lot of fun. So as you can tell, I have not yet opened this box over here. It just came in the mail, but I'm really excited to open it up today, share what I got with you guys, and then we can try it all on my face. So without further ado, let's dive into this box. So let me just go ahead and cut this box open. And hopefully this video also helps you guys in terms of predicting maybe what you might get in your box. I think I got mine relatively early and that I haven't seen many folks do videos yet, but I think they only have a few different sets of boxes. So there's a decent chance you might get something similar to what I have in this box. So here is the box open. They have this really gorgeous paper and this tag here. It says here, Lucky Bags are a Japanese custom that inspired us to create our own. The Japanese character, and it has the specific character over here, on this year's Lucky Bag, which means dawn or daybreak, symbolizes new beginnings after a challenging year. Very apropos. We hope the surprises inside help you welcome 2021 with hope and light. Aw, that's so nice. Wow. Okay, let me see if I can show you guys what this looks like. So here we are. You have this huge piece of paper, and then let's look inside. So here is the actual package of all the items. And also I should mention this is the regular Lucky Bag. It is not the XL because unfortunately I missed out on that. I was actually on the website at the right time, actually 10 minutes before they launched, but there was a glitch on their website and for some reason I couldn't check out with the XL. So I had to go with just the regular Lucky Bag. But without further ado, let's open this up. Ooh, I see something exciting already. Okay, so my eye was immediately drawn to this and I am very, very excited for this. Okay, so this is the Natasha Denona bronze palette. This is really nice because this bag was around $100. I'll look it up and put it down below in the description box, but this palette alone is $65. So we're looking good so far because I have been debating about getting this palette for a while. And so getting this in the Lucky Bag is a perfect way for me to have it without feeling any guilt. So there is the bronze palette. Ooh, and I am so excited for this little guy. So we will definitely be putting this on my lids today. Natasha Denona is definitely one of my favorite beauty brands. And I was thinking about this palette for a while, but ultimately I was like, Metropolis is also very bronzy and orangey in tone, and I heard that this is kind of limited in terms of the number of looks it can give you, but I am very attracted to this color story, so I'm super excited. I've heard rave reviews about this palette, very much looking forward to this. So next up, we have the Good Molecules Pineapple Exfoliating Powder. That's interesting. So basically, you dispense a teaspoon of this powder into your palms, mix it with some drops of water to create a creamy foam, and then you just massage it into your skin and exfoliate. Interesting. So I've never used a product like this. So this is very intriguing. I definitely use a decent number of chemical and physical exfoliators in my beauty routine already, but I've never used a powder one, so this is interesting and probably better for the environment because this way they can ship you a lot more product and it's not as heavy. So very intriguing and looking forward to trying this. Okie doke. Ooh, next up, a Wayne Goss brush. You guys know how much I love me some Wayne Goss brushes. So this one is the Wayne Goss number 6. Ooh, so it's kind of like a fluffy, flat shader brush. Interesting. It kind of reminds me of my Rephr number 1 brush in shape at least, but it's much, much flatter if you guys can see that. So this is both of them on the side. The Rephr one is very, very puffy at this point. This is much flatter. I'll have to look online to see what the best way to use this brush is, because I can imagine this could both like lay down pigment because it is like pretty thin, but also it could maybe be used to blend things out a little bit as well. But very excited because I love Wayne Goss brushes, and his brushes all are in like the $20 to $30 range. So I feel like between these two products alone, I've already pretty much got my money's worth. So that is very promising. Let's see. Next up, ooh, Charlotte Tilbury. So we have here a Matte Revolution lipstick. It's in one of her Hot Lips formulas. So this is in Hell's Bells. Am I reading that right? It's like hell with just one L. Interesting. Okay, well, this is exciting. Ooh, okay, so this is a very magenta berry, pretty deep purple lipstick. And this is exciting because I've actually never tried Charlotte's Matte Revolution formula. If you guys have watched my channel, you probably know I do not like matte lipsticks normally. I am a huge fan of lip glosses and just anything that's moisturizing and nourishing on the skin. So I have not gone the Matte Revolution route, but this is pretty exciting because this way I can try out her formula and not feel like, oh man, you know, should I spend that much money on a matte lipstick? And also, before I go any further, I should mention I got this in the collection for medium to dark complexions. So that might also affect whether you get similar products or different products than me. And part of why I mentioned that is I think maybe this one is in this much deeper berry tone, in part because it's for the deeper skin tone collection. And for me, I feel like I was like very much in the center in terms of like I could either go with the light or with the darker complected products, but I figured probably better to err on the deeper side because the lighter products might just look like nothing and not show up on my skin, whereas the deeper products, worst comes to worst, I could always use just in a more sheared out form. Next up, ooh, UOMA Beauty. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've been wanting to try this brand for quite a while and I've just been debating what to get from them. So this is the Notting Hill highlighter. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And also, isn't this a gorgeous box? And it says Black Magic Carnival up here. Wow. So this is very exciting. So UOMA Beauty is a Black-owned beauty brand. I think they just joined BEAUTYLISH maybe this past year or so, but I'm super excited for this. Ooh, oh my God, this is so pretty. Oh, and it smells wonderful. It smells coconutty and kind of tropical. Ooh, that's really, really pretty. Okay, I have to swatch this right now. Man, look at that highlight. That is so, so pretty. Okay, I don't know for sure whether this will work as a highlighter on my skin, but at minimum, this would be a gorgeous eyeshadow. Look at that. I am so excited. Like, this is so, so, so pretty. Man, and I've been wanting to up my highlighter game because you guys know I don't have many like single pan highlighters, so this is perfect to add to my collection. And also I feel like these two together would go so, so well, and actually I think this berry tone too would go quite well with this combination. So I actually wonder if they try to make it such that you could do a cohesive look with the bag. I don't know, you guys will have to tell me if you get a lucky bag whether yours provides a cohesive look, but so far this is all going together very well. So let's see, I think this is the last item. Ooh, interesting. So this is from Kish Beauty, and these are satin scrunchies. Maybe I should try one of these on right now. Here is a satin scrunchie. This kind of, I think, matches my dress today, so maybe I'll try this guy on. I've actually been kind of intrigued about these scrunchies. I've seen some of the silk scrunchies on some of these websites as well, and ooh, that's pretty comfy. I don't know if you guys can really see it. There it is. It seems like pretty secure, which is good, because my one concern with these sorts of products was that it might kind of just slip out of my hair because my hair is pretty straight. Interesting. Let me try to put this up more as a bun like they show in the picture here so I can better display the scrunchie itself. Okay, well, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there it is. I'm just gonna do it as a ponytail for now because I don't think you guys can really see it very well anyway, and I am not doing a hair tutorial by any means today. So, alrighty, so let's now go into these other products. I currently have no makeup on my face because I had no idea what was going to come in this bag, but I'm going to go now and just put on my brows, my concealer, my eye primer, and then be right back and we can start with all of the new makeup. So I thought before I put these on my face, it might be helpful for you guys if I went ahead and swatched them. So I got a little bit of a head start, but then figured I'd do the rest as a live swatch just so you can see a little bit more how the shadows perform. So again, first, this is the highlighter from UOMA, and this is in Notting Hill. And then we have Hell's Bells from Charlotte Tilbury in her Matte Trans formula. And then the rest are from the Natasha Denona bronze palette. So to start out, we have True Copper, which is a very high shine coppery shade. Next, we have Suntan, which is a matte shade. And then we have Sundown, which is a very vibrant sort of cantaloupe matte shade. And then we have Deep Dive, which is the deepest shade in this palette. And this is, I would say, an extremely unique shade because it has actually a little bit of a reddish undertone to it, sort of reddish plummy undertone, but it is a really deep, kind of creamy matte, I would say. Next up, we have Rhodium. Ooh, that is really gorgeous. So this is also a very unique shade. It has almost more of a mauvey purple to it with some fine, almost silvery reflect. So really unique and I think a little bit cooler toned than most of the shades in this palette. Next, we have Magma, which is a matte shade and sort of a appropriately named brownish red hue. Next, we have High Degree, which is a shimmery metallic shade. And this is actually a very similar shade to Magma, just in a very, very different finish. So if you want to do a more monochromatic look, you can maybe pair these two in the same look. Next, we have Alloy, and this is the center shade in the palette. By the way, all of these swatch so beautifully, especially the shimmers. So this is a really standard kind of bronze shade. This and True Copper look kind of similar to me, but True Copper, I guess, is a little bit more reddish. In general, I think a lot of these shades will pull quite similarly on the lids. Next, we have Ridge, which is a matte shade, and this is a very beautiful, quite unique shade. So this is quite similar to Alloy, but in a matte formula. And then we have True Bronze. So I know I just described Alloy as being kind of a true bronze, but I guess Alloy is a lot more golden than True Bronze. True Bronze has a little bit more of a white gold flash to it rather than a yellow gold flash. So those are the first two rows, and there's no way I'm gonna finish with the last row on this arm. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer over to this arm for the last row. So first we have Gloaming, and this is more of a pinky shade compared to a lot of the others, sort of a pinky red, but very bronzy and warm at the same time. Then we have Palladium. Ooh, that is really, really unique and gorgeous. So this one has definitely more of a taupey brown undertone to it. Ooh, this is so pretty. This is Bliss. So this one actually kind of reminds me of a shade that I have in my Viseart Petit Soleil palette, kind of like, I think it's the watermelon shade or something, or maybe marmalade, but this has a very pinky base to it, but then really, really reflective gold glitter. Next, we have Silk. Ooh, that's so pretty as well. Wow, so that's an extremely high shine formula, and this is a little bit more of a pinky undertone bronze compared to the rest of them. And then the last shade is Beach, and I think this might be the lightest shade in the palette, so a little bit more peachy compared to some of the other matte shades over here. So this is what we will be developing a look with today. And you can see, I would say overall, all of these shades go pretty well together, especially I think this highlight will pair super well with this palette. This lipstick is probably a lot more cool toned and more purple than what I would normally go for with this much of an orangey bronze look, but hopefully it just provides a nice contrast. These shades are all super, super beautiful, so I can't wait to get these on my lids. So without further ado, let's start putting all these products on my face. So I normally would go straight into the eyes, but today I'm gonna go ahead and just apply the lipstick because we already know what lipstick color I'm going to be using. And I figured this way we can better make sure that the eyeshadow really matches with the lipstick. There we go. So that is Hell's Bells On from Charlotte Tilbury's Hot Lips collection. And this is my first time ever trying her Matte Revolution formula. So this will also give me a chance to give you guys first impressions as this wears over the course of this video. So in terms of initial application, I would say that this is a lot more comfortable than I'm used to from matte lipsticks. Even in terms of effect, I think as you see it on the lips, doesn't actually look that matte. I would say it's definitely more of a satin finish compared to, say, my Lisa Eldridge True Velvet lipsticks, which definitely give a matte finish. The shade also is a lot cooler toned than what I anticipated. It definitely looks quite purpley on the lips. So I do kind of wonder if I should try to make sure that my eyeshadow look is a little bit more purpley than bronze, because otherwise I think this might be a little bit too contrasting. So I think what that means for today's look is I will definitely go into Rhodium and Deep Dive, since I think those will go quite well with this. And then maybe I'll stick more to some of the reddish tones in order to make sure it's not too like yellow plus purple. So to start off, I would normally not use a brush like this for this purpose, but I'm gonna go into Beach just because I wanted to see how this lightest shade looks on the lids. And I'm just going to sweep this all over the outer portions of the lids. And already I can tell this is not the use case for this brush. It is definitely not fluffy enough to do this super well, but that's okay. That was what I figured, but just wanted to check out. So I'm actually gonna go in now with my classic crease brush from Sonia G just to blend that all out, because I do want this initial shadow to be quite diffuse. And I think we'll go back into that Wayne Goss number 6 when I get to the point of packing shadow on my lids, because that seems like more of the use case for that brush. Of course, I could just look up what that brush is used for, but what fun would that be? So next, just to add a little bit more depth, I'm gonna go into Suntan. And normally I wouldn't build up this many mattes in my crease, but I do just wanna see how all of these shades look, or as many of them as I can fit on my eyes. I'm definitely not gonna put all 15 on my eyes. That would be kind of crazy, but I'm gonna try to put more than I would normally put, just so I can hopefully try out more shades and show you guys how they look. Alrighty, so now Suntan is up. Ooh, this is a really interesting, unique shade. Definitely got a decent amount of reddish undertone to that. Alrighty, so from that initial application, I would definitely say that it's good that they have Deep Dive in this palette, because this is not super pigmented in terms of depth. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of Suntan in the outer third. Alright, so now I'm gonna go into Deep Dive with my Wayne Goss number 4 and use this in the outer portion of the lid to see how that depth builds up. Ooh, Deep Dive is a very interesting shade because, oh, yikes, got a little bit of a chunk there. It has this kind of creamy formula that Natasha Denona is quite known for, but I sometimes find it a little harder to work with her creamy formula, because I know she does it so you don't pick up too much pigment, but I find it if you're trying to layer it on, sometimes I struggle a bit, like right now when I accidentally got a little bit too much of that. It does seem to be catching over here, if you guys can see that. It's just like stuck in that one place where I didn't do the best initial application. Okay, so far I would say her more powdery matte formulas, like these 3, all performed super easily and were really easy to blend in. This Deep Dive formula in this creamier formulation is giving me a lot of struggle busing, like especially on this eye. I'm having a really hard time blending out this patchiness, which is really unfortunate because, like I was saying, I feel like the rest of the palette doesn't have a ton of depth. Like maybe I should have gone into Magma, maybe that would have given me more depth, but I feel like Deep Dive will be really important for giving you that depth. So I do wish it was just a little easier to work with. So now is the time for this Wayne Goss number 6 to shine. So I'm gonna keep it it simple. I'm just gonna go into rhodium over here and try to see how this looks all over the eye, and maybe, you know, layer some additional shades on top of it. Oh, this is applying very sheer. I was not expecting that given how pigmented the shadow is. I'm really glad they included this shade in this palette, because otherwise you really wouldn't be able to do that many different kinds of looks. And this shadow is so pretty. Alrighty, I think when you kind of dig into it a little bit more, it starts coming out a bit better. And this brush is very good for this purpose because I think the rounded edge at the top just makes it really easy to focus the shadow on your mobile lid and not anywhere past that. Ooh, that is really pretty. I really like that shade. Alrighty, so I feel like my crease area is still giving me some grief. So I'm gonna try going into Magma now, lightly with this classic crease brush, and see if I can just put this all over the crease area and whether that will help bring a little bit more blended out depth. Okay, that is a little intense, but we're gonna try to replicate it on this side. Okay, we might need some reinforcements. So here I have my wing Goss number 16, just to hopefully further blend things out. And this brush currently has no pigment on it, so let's hope it kind of picks up some of the excess that we have right now. I feel like I picked up a little bit of rhodium's pigment, so I'm gonna go back in and just try to layer on some more rhodium. I might need to add another shadow on top as well, because I feel like rhodium is not giving me quite the shine I want. In general, I am kind of struggle busting a little bit through this palette, but I'm not super surprised at the same time, because I do find that for me personally, at least, there's definitely much more of a learning curve with Natasha Denona shadows than with a lot of my other shadows, so we'll see. But once you do figure out that learning curve, it's usually worth it. Okay, let's go ahead and just put some shadow on the lower lash line. So I'm gonna go in with Ridge since I had not tried that matte yet, and I'll just put this all over the lower lash line. Got a little bit of kick up from that shade, but to be expected with such a powdery matte. That shade actually looks a lot deeper on the lids than what I was expecting based on the pan. Alrighty, and then a little bit of deep dive for those outer corner areas. Then I'm going to take some high degree just because I'm kind of curious how this will look and whether it'll go well, given that we do have some magma on the top. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on the middle of the center of the eyelid. And looking at this look right now, I wonder if I can also bring in palladium and silk. So I'm going to take some of palladium on this little wing Goss number 5 and put it on the inner third of the lower lash line. I'm also just going to take some of palladium also on my GSN9 brush and put some of that on the inner third on the upper lash line. Okay, that did bring a little bit of brightness, but definitely quite subtle. I wonder actually if I can use silk as a topper shade because it is very chunky. So let me just try to take a tiny bit of that and see if I can sort of scatter that on top of rhodium. Ooh, okay, that kind of works. I'm gonna refine the edges with that GSN9. There we go, very, very pretty. So I do want to also just add a little bit more shine to the lower lash line. In the interest of trying more shades, I'm going to take a little bit of true bronze, try to dab some of that on the inner third of the lower lash line. Just a little bit because I want to minimize fallout. But I feel like this could add a little bit of extra dimension. There we go, that's really pretty. I don't really see a very obvious inner corner or brow bone highlight. So I think I'm actually gonna go in with the UOMA highlighter for that purpose so I can use this in as many parts of my face as possible. So this is so gorgeous. I'm gonna take my Sonia G Mini Booster and just carefully dab a little bit of that. I think there's a decent amount of pickup, and put this on the brow bone. Ooh, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that shine. So pretty. It's just a really gorgeous golden bronzy highlight. Let me just pack a little bit more of that on this brush and put that on the inner corner. Ooh, there we go. Man, I think this goes really well with this palette. That's actually really pretty. I am digging this look, and this eyeshadow look is actually more unique than I anticipated it would be, given all of the criticism I had heard about the bronze palette being kind of one-dimensional. This is a pretty cool look. So I went ahead with my M Cosmetics brush liner and gave myself a nice cat eye. And then on my cheeks, I went in with this bronzer and this blush from my Hourglass Sculpture Ambient Lighting Edit palette, since I figured it would be good to have more of a matte blush for now, kind of satin to matte, so we can really see the effect of the highlighter. So now I will go into the highlighter with my Wayne Goss Artist Small brush and take some of that beauty and put it all over my cheeks. Ooh, that's really pretty. Okay, yeah, I think this definitely works for me as a highlighter. I was a little bit worried given how deep it looked in pan, but there's just so much reflectivity on this. I don't feel like this adds any depth at all to my cheekbone. It definitely just has a really, really gorgeous, like, it's not a straightforward golden sheen, and I know I'm just layering this on and on, but I want you guys to really be able to see the shine. Wow, just so pretty. Wow, look at that. Look at that. I think you can see it definitely better on this side. Alrighty, so this is my completed look. So now I can run through with you guys my overall initial impressions on these products and of this lucky bag. So first off, obviously the star of the show was this bronze palette, and I am really digging this overall. This initial application did kind of affirm my prior decision not to buy this full price on my own, but getting this in a lucky bag was really great because I do think this is a palette I will probably be able to reach for quite often. These shades are all very approachable for me and my skin tone, and I think in the summertime especially, this will definitely become a go-to palette for me. I would say my only disappointment at the moment with this palette is these two shades I think are extremely important for the palette if you want to create a more unique look, but like this shade, Deep Dive, is a little bit tricky to work with. I think she wanted to put it in this kind of more creamy matte formula under the assumption that it would make it easier for folks to build it up because it would kind of sheer out more easily. But in my experience, I feel like it just like caught on various places and was harder to blend out than if it was more of a straightforward powder formula. So that's kind of unfortunate because I do think I'll need to go into Deep Dive to provide more depth to my looks. Like, you know, even today's look, I would say in the outer corner is not super deep because I was struggling with Deep Dive. And I think prior to putting Deep Dive on my lids, there was definitely not enough depth just from the other matte shades. Also, Rhodium is an extremely unique shade, and I really, really love the color and think it's super unique, and it's just added this beautiful like purpliness to this look. But it was kind of sheer, which confused me. It took me a while to really build it up on my lids. And then it doesn't have a ton of shine to it, even though in pan and in the swatch, you can see that it has that reflectivity. So I did feel like I needed to put silk on top of it, which obviously changed the look entirely because now it's much more bronzy and less of that purpley toned look. And that's fine, you know, I get it. Like, this is the bronze palette, so you cannot escape the bronze color story. But I guess personally, I thought, you know, since there's 15 shadows, I was hoping because of this purple lip, I'd be able to pull it a bit more to the purple side. So overall, I think I will get a lot of use out of this palette and really enjoy it. And I'm really glad it came in this lucky bag. But in terms of just like a review of this palette separate from this lucky bag, it is a very solid palette, but you know, maybe not the most diverse in terms of the kinds of looks you can achieve. And next we have this highlighter from UOMA, and I am so glad that this came in this set because, as I mentioned, UOMA Beauty is a brand that I have been eyeing for a while and have been really wanting to try and haven't been quite sure really where to get started. And so I think this was an excellent introduction and is so pretty, and also happens to come at a time when I've really been wanting to build out my highlighter collection more. So I think this was really perfect and is so gorgeous. I think it would actually work on a much wider variety of skin tones than the shade in Pan might suggest. It does swatch a little bit more pigmented and deep than you might expect from a highlighter, but at least on my skin tone, I feel like this looks really, really pretty. Like, I don't see any weird shadows or cast from this, and it's just so reflective and has a really unique sheen to it too, because again, it's not just gold. I feel like you definitely do have a little bit of that pinkiness there. And so I am a huge fan of this and look forward to trying more from this brand. Next up, we have this Wayne Goss number 6 brush. I think I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research in terms of what the best use cases for this brush are. But I definitely found one very solid use case, which is to apply your main shimmer shade all over your mobile eyelid. I think this sort of curvature at the top and the thinness is really perfect for laying on shadow in that way. I love Wayne Goss brushes, and I mostly use my GSN 9 brush for this use case. Let me actually hold this up against my GSN 9. So it's a much bigger brush than the GSN 9, but they're kind of similar if you feel them, because they both are fairly thin brushes with stiff enough bristles to be able to really hold the pigment and pack it on flat, but still a little bit floppy at the same time. So I'm really excited to use this guy as an additional brush for this use case, but also try it out in other use cases as well. Next up, we have the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in Hell's Bells. And I've had this lipstick on now for a decent amount of time, and I would say it actually feels super comfortable. So I really appreciate that, because I normally really do not like wearing matte lipsticks. I would say it's definitely not hydrating or nourishing, as pretty much no matte lipstick is. So for that reason, I don't think I'm going to suddenly start wearing this lipstick all the time, because I do like my hydration and nourishment for my lip products. But if I am going for more of a matte look with this color, I think this will be really perfect. And it has piqued my interest in terms of getting some more products from her Matte Revolution line, because there definitely are times where I am looking for more of a matte lip look. In terms of the shade itself, this is definitely a shade I am glad came in my lucky bag, because I don't think I would shell out, $30 to $40 to buy a shade like this to add to my collection. I have a lot of berry tones already, but I do think this is a really interesting shade and would go well with a lot of more purple and pink looks. So I'm glad now that I have this, and I'm looking forward to combining this with some of my other palettes that might be a little bit more cool toned. Finally, there's the one skincare product that came in this package, and this is, again, the Pineapple Exfoliating Powder. I am, for now, just intrigued. It's not really something I have ever used before in terms of a powder exfoliator, so I really have no idea what my impressions will be of this after I try it, but I'll definitely try it out and let you guys know in future videos in terms of how this works. I am interested in Good Molecules as a brand because their brand is relatively affordable, so if this works well, maybe it will inspire me to try out some more of their products. In terms of these scrunchies, I don't have many impressions so far. I've been wearing this throughout the duration of the video and it's felt great. I'm not the pickiest person in terms of hair products, but I am overall pleased with these and I'll definitely get usage out of this. So that part is really good. And so far it's been very comfortable and I think these will be, a cute way. Sorry, I don't think you guys can see that. I think it'll be a cute way of jazzing up my hair care routine, which is currently pretty plain. So now for my overall thoughts about this beauty bag. I am actually really blown away by the products I got in this bag because I didn't have super high expectations because I had read a lot of reviews online from folks who have done it for the past few years and have kind of felt jaded by this. Obviously for me, this is my first time, so there's also that kind of beginner's excitement. But I was really surprised that these all came from brands that either I am a die-hard fan of or that I have been really interested in trying out. So that's been really positive. And especially, I get it, like a lot of folks probably already have this bronze palette, so if you have the bronze palette, I'm sorry if you get another one. For me personally, the bronze palette has been one that I've been on the fence about for a long time, so I really appreciated this. And I think in general, what's nice about the concept of the fukubukuro or lucky bag, it's an opportunity for you to try new things and maybe find new favorites that are a bit unexpected. So I'm actually glad that I didn't get anything in this bag that is either a replication of what I already have or something that I would have probably bought anyway. All of these are sufficiently a little bit different from what I would normally buy that it's definitely been a really fun experience trying them out and adding these to my collection. And overall, I am just very, very pleased. And I'll have to do the calculation in terms of how much the total value of these products are, but I'll definitely post all that information down below. So that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing and try on with me. And if you got a lucky bag this year, please let me know down below what you got in your bag. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am a new content creator, so I would definitely appreciate the support. So thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!